If your asthma acts up when life be lifing, you're not imagining it. On today's episode, we are talking about how stress can trigger asthma and what to do about it. Hi guys, welcome back to Rts Share Tea, where respiratory therapists live out loud. With me, your host, Linda Fry, the Asthma Lady. Yes, welcome everyone. Welcome to anyone new and Happy New Year. Happy 2026. Yes, I haven't seen you guys in a while. So just setting the tone for the new year, and today's episode, we are talking about stress as an asthma trigger. Did you know that is an asthma trigger for some of us with asthma? In a past episode, I did speak about non-type 2 asthma and how the role of nutrition plays when it comes to asthma management. And I will connect that episode to this one in the description. All right, so let's talk about non-type 2 asthma in a very simple way. Okay, so I just want to remind everyone that not everyone has the same type of asthma. It often shows up later in life and is sensitive to things like pollution, obesity, environmental factors, and yes, stress. Stress activates our nervous system, our cortisol levels, which is the hormone level, right? And stress, know that the cortisol level, it will regulate itself, right? But when we are constantly dealing with stress, this has long-term effects. So this is what controls our flight or fright signals in the body. And when this happens, it does several things to the body. And one of those things is it can cause inflammation, and it could cause the airways to get tighter, and this can make it harder to breathe. Stress doesn't cause asthma, but it can certainly make it harder to control, especially for people with non-type 2 asthma. This is why stress management can be a helpful tool alongside medication, not a replacement, but a tool to help us control our asthma. Understanding your asthma type leads you to understand why managing stress helps with asthma management. We all have some form of stress, whether that be stress from being a caregiver, financial pressure, taking care of home, work. We all have some level of stress and pressure that we deal with. All right, so here are some practical tips to dealing with stress and just having a stress management plan. All right, so number one is be honest with yourself. All right. Recognize that you are stressed. Acknowledge it for what it is, okay? Because we certainly don't want to ignore it, right? All right. So from there, whatever is stressing you out, start to identify what is the actual stressor. So from there, know that you can start to take mini time outs. Okay, that's what I do. If I am constantly stressed, like I'm anxious and I just feel like I'm all over the place, know that these feelings, if you don't acknowledge them and you ignore them, that level of stress, it's carried around wherever you go. All right. So know that your family feels it, your kids feel it, folks that work with you, whoever interacts with you, they're going to feel that stress. If you're a leader, if you're a supervisor, a manager, a CEO, folks will they will feel that. When I say take a mini time out, for me, I'm talking about simply even something like taking a step back, going to the bathroom and just taking a few mindful breaths to yourself. And while you're doing this, so to prepare yourself for stressful situations, ask yourself and pay attention, how do you get out of stress mode? Okay, so what helps you just kind of get out of that? All right, so for me, I like to do things that I like, schedule that stuff in. And for me, I like to do arts and crafts, right? I'm a DIYer. I have said this several times on this podcast. And I enjoy arts and crafts. So just making things to decorate the house, anything like that. So ask yourself that question whenever you really start to feel stress, okay? Like, am I doing things that I enjoy, that bring joy to my life? Make sure you are penciling those things in. And what goes along with that is just making sure that you really are penciling those times of self-care, making sure that you're not so busy that you are skipping on self-care. Also, you want to make sure that what you can do to handle stress is have a routine. And so oftentimes this really helps make sure that life is not random, right? If you know what to expect, you can prepare for them. So routines really do help ease down anxiety because once again, you know what to expect. So try to form routines for yourself that you can adapt to when things really kick up a notch, when life is lifing, right? But just making sure that you also, once again, you leave yourself with some flexibility to put in things that you enjoy. Another helpful tip is making sure that we are moving around. All right. So things like taking walks, taking short breaks, and taking that stroll around the block, if possible, if weather permits, right? For those of us that have asthma and it can't be outside in the cold because it's cold outside, you can, I don't know, just take little walks around your living room, your dining room, and just really paying attention to your thoughts. Another practical tip is just journaling, writing down your thoughts. This one is another one that helped me. Back in the day, I never used to journal, but I have been journaling ever since I went on a journey of self-awareness. I've been journaling, I want to say for the past 5 years now. I've been journaling and it has been very, very helpful. I feel like when I reread certain pages, that I'm actually seeing myself evolve. like I feel like there's so many different versions of me that I was not aware of. And this really does help you to process, for those of us that have a hard time processing our own feelings and emotions, and have things like delayed reactions, and I'm one of them. Journaling is really helpful. Another tip that I like to tell folks when it comes to stress management, when it comes to my patients, is I make sure to keep my support system together, right? The support system. So these are the family members, the friends, the church members, the neighbors, people that you trust that are a part of your village, right? So in anything that you're trying to do, like, we're really not meant to do things alone, right? So forming those support systems is such a huge win when it comes to things like stress management, because you could really go to that support system and be like, hey, listen, I'm having a really hard time here. Can you help me out? Or just have people that you can speak to, right? Making sure that you're not dealing with this alone. And that is another tip. Making sure that when things really start to, let's say they really start to bubble over, like, the pressure on the lid is about to pop, making sure that that you can talk to somebody, and that it is very healthy to go speak to a professional. So once again, stress is not something that we want you to ignore, act like it's not happening. We want you to know that it is okay to ask for help. And there are plenty of resources out there that you can utilize to help you get to a place of stress management. Okay, so this is what stress management is not. Stress management is not a cure for asthma. It is not a replacement for medication. It is not a just relax advice. It is not ignoring your mental health. It is not just get over it. All right. That's not stress management at all. Okay. So just making sure that once again, when you are paying attention to your stress levels, that we are being very intentional with remediating whatever the problem is, fixing it. All right, guys. So the key message here today is that stress management is absolutely an asthma intervention for those of us that do have stress as a trigger. Okay, absolutely. And so once again, I encourage you, if this is a trigger, I encourage you to speak to your healthcare team and add this as a part of your asthma action plan. All right, so we know what to do and be prepared ahead of time. All right, guys, so that's all I have here for today. I hope you learned something. Let me know, did I miss something? Sometimes I do record these things so fast that I just literally will blank out and forget something. But let me know how you manage stress. What do you do? Let's keep these conversations going. And yeah, know that we are growing together. There is so much to come for 2026. We, Rts Share Tea podcast, is on most podcast platforms on Wednesdays, and we are on YouTube on Thursdays, except for when I'm on vacation. Thanks again for sitting down with me for another tea chat. And if you valued anything that you received today, any information you learned, anything, know that I do have a digital tip jar. With the digital tip jar, every tea you buy helps with the production of this show, helps us to continue doing the research and to continue to provide the resources in the community, guys. So I just want to say thank you in advance for taking this ride with me. I'll see you next time. Bye.